Hey everyone, Robert Pollock here, business and real estate attorney at Fausone LLP, Western Wayne County's premier full-service law firm. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about some of the things to look out for in a closing package and closing documents when you're closing on property. Let's start with some of the facts. Closing documents, they sometimes feel like a formality, and sometimes people overlook it a bit. But really having an attorney closely review those documents can save you thousands. I've personally saved clients over $10,000 at the closing table. That's why it's so important to have an experienced attorney in your corner, because sometimes you're just leaving money on the table. Number one, you should review those settlement statements carefully. On the settlement statements, we want to review firstly the prorations. In Michigan, prorations of property taxes follow what is agreed to by the parties in the purchase agreement. So that's another reason why it's important to have an attorney all throughout the process so that they can draft that purchase agreement for a favorable provision regarding prorations. There's several ways to prorate property taxes, and I won't go into all the details, but there's things like prorate it in advance, prorate it in arrears, calendar date basis, do a due date basis, etc. So many believe that you just follow the local customs or something of that nature, but that's kind of not really necessarily true. Number two, you really want to review the details on the deed. You want to really check for spelling errors, dates, amount of the consideration involved, those types of things. If you don't check that stuff and there's a problem with it, it really could create title problems down the road, even a small spelling error. If these things are not right and the deed is recorded, that's even worse. It could be very costly to correct those mistakes later on. Number three, this is really more applicable to apartments or large commercial properties, but you're going to look for what I call kind of the splits. You want to review sort of in the purchase agreement, you split things like transfer of security deposits, utilities, electricity bills, water bills, prepaid rent, rent paid after closing. These sort of things usually are kind of split down the middle as of the closing date. So, I've seen it before where parties agree on a closing date and then something comes up and they have to change the closing date, but they don't change those splits. So the splits stay the same and they never update that. So you really want to check those splits and check that they're really updated up to the date of closing and it's very accurate as of the date of closing. Lastly, number four, you want to check those additional agreements of the parties that are signed and included in the closing documents. Some of these things are like bills of sale, assignment of rents. Usually the parties will include those as like an exhibit to the purchase agreement. And a lot of times I've seen title companies kind of forget to include those in the closing documents. So you really want to make sure that those types of agreements that you've already drafted are incorporated into those closing documents and signed on the date of closing. If you're a property investor and you'd like us to provide legal assistance for your property purchase, give me a call here at my direct line, 248-912-3213. Until next time, I'm Robert Pollock, business and real estate attorney here at Fausone LLP, Western Wayne County's premier full-service law firm. Thanks for watching.